Good afternoon. In this presentation, we'll be covering social media, movies, and music, and how they relate to sexism, negative body image standards, and the patriarchy. Before we begin, a brief introduction to who we are. We are Sharp Warriors, a mostly student-run organization focused on raising awareness on issues involving sexual harassment and assault in our community. In this presentation, we are going to cover how social media, movies, TV shows, and music objectify and portray unrealistic body standards.
The upcoming presentation includes content and photos that objectify women. If at any point you feel uncomfortable and need to take a break, please do so.
To begin with, we'll start by analyzing how cartoons contribute to these issues. Cartoons often portray the female characters with unrealistic bodies. This not only teaches children to sexualize women from a young age, but also creates a negative body image that creates an unrealistic ideal that negatively impacts both young men and women. Please take notice of the differences between the male and female characters in this slide. Notice how Wonder Woman is wearing much less clothes compared to Superman, how Elastigirl is made to fit an unrealistic body standard as opposed to Mr. Incredible, who embodies more of a typical dad bod. Also notice how this is not exclusive to just human characters in cartoons, but how also animals are portrayed to have a more sexual nature when they are women as opposed to a male character, which you can see in the squirrels from Ice Age below.
Toys and content for children also promote objectification and unrealistic body expectations similarly to cartoons. Having these examples for young children is harmful and enforces patriarchal beliefs. Dolls like Barbie, Bratz dolls, and others could potentially contribute to internal misogyny and create negative self-perception among young girls especially. Other toys like kitchen sets, cleaning sets, and dolls in general are made to reinforce stereotypical gender roles from a young age. While girls are taught that cleaning, cooking, and taking care of children or household tasks are fun activities, boys are encouraged to pursue leisure activities like playing sports, playing with cars, and toy guns. These power dynamics are subconsciously being taught and marketed through products from a very young age. Moving on to the portrayal of women in media, such as film, princess movies are a great example as to how gender roles are enforced. Princesses like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Belle, Ariel, etc. are all women who need to be rescued by men in order to escape a difficulty in their life. Prince Charming's and knights in shining armor are problematic in nature because they imply that women are not strong, powerful, or independent enough to save themselves. This enforces a patriarchal idea that men are saviors of women, which can be extremely toxic, especially as women enter adulthood. Having internalized these savior values, women may find it hard to stand up to male partners in situations of domestic abuse or unhealthy relationships overall. While it's important to recognize that there have been recent efforts by companies like Disney to break these gender roles with more independent female characters like Mulan, Elsa, and Moana, there are still many harmful examples that influence young girls' self-perception. Even when women are meant to be portrayed as powerful, companies can't have female empowerment being the sole thing advertising the movie and still use sexualization as a means to draw viewers. Whether that be through women characters wearing less clothing, through having sexual relations with a male character in the film, or through the objectification of the woman during scenes and/or the movie poster, sex sells. And our society continues to promote these ideas even in their attempts to empower women in movies such as Wonder Woman, Charlie's Angels, Tomb Raider, and others.
This quote strongly enforces the message from the previous slide. Evidence shows that when movies are marketed, this quote strongly enforces the messages from the previous slide. This quote strongly enforces the message from the previous slide. Female superhero movies, which promote the idea of empowered and strong women, are marketed more as alluring, charming, and sexual fantasies. This practice is widely common in modern marketing, perhaps because if Wonder Woman was covered head to toe in an iron suit, ticket sales would dramatically decrease. Music is often used as a medium that enforces extremely inappropriate behavior and objectification of women. Blurred Lines is a prime example of this. In the song, the lyrics depict a situation between a man and a drunk woman. Throughout the song, the man is imposing his intentions onto the woman, which can be seen in lines such as, "Just let me liberate you," and "I know you want it." In this situation, the man is dictating what the drunk woman is feeling. Blurred lines refers to the unclear notions of consent. These lyrics taken out of context and said in a normal situation would be entirely unacceptable and qualify as harassment in certain conditions. However, the actions in the context of the song are made to be more acceptable, simply because it is in a musical format and being sung by celebrities who are idolized and considered to be male role models in society. However, the format and the people singing it do not excuse the content of the song or make it any more justifiable. The song Animals is another prime example of glorifying male conquest of women and using the medium of music as a defense mechanism to the content. The song includes extremely problematic themes of stalking and harassing women, with lines such as, "I'm preying on you tonight, hunt you down and eat you alive," which creates the impression that men should hunt women down, and it enforces predatory gender roles. Even more problematic, however, is in the music video, in which a man is shown to stalk and follow a woman home, taking pictures of her while she sleeps. Similarly to in Blurred Lines, the medium, despite containing influential and harmful themes, is expected to be perceived as acceptable because it is in music format.
All the patterns mentioned so far are also present in advertising. Women are constantly sexualized in advertisements that are marketed towards men. When companies use this type of marketing tactic, they are essentially associating the female body with the product that they are selling. As a result, this creates an impression that women are bodies that can be used to attract or entice the male demographic, which is a demeaning idea that contributes to the objectification of women. It is essentially treating women's bodies as the product and what is drawing a consumer. Other companies may market their products as chick magnets like Axe and Old Spice, which creates the impression that women are attracted to the ideal man, which can only be achieved through purchasing certain products. In addition, ads like the American Apparel and Burger King examples above are basically selling sex. Companies use the act of sex itself to catch people's eyes and appeal to their sexual desires in order to sell something completely unrelated. This often comes, once again, at the cost of the objectification of women more heavily than men. In the media, we see mainly women and girls portrayed with unrealistic body standards, although the same goes for men as well. Waists are too thin, hips are too wide, and legs are too long. Very few people actually have this body type, and it would be unhealthy and unattainable for the majority.
Many people base themselves off these models that glorify and idealize a very specific body type. Recent efforts have increased diversity, but it is still unlikely to see representative groups of models, whether that be in skin color, size, or skin conditions, or disabilities. This lack of representation and accuracy of normal bodies in individuals can create negative self-perception, self-hatred, and lead to problems like body dysmorphia. More and more, we see beauty filters and editing apps that make people no longer content with their natural bodies, as well as seeking more cosmetic procedures.
It's important to recognize that there are body positivity and self-love advocates and influencers on the rise in the media, especially in apps that include self-created content. However, mainstream media like the movie industry, modeling agencies, and companies have failed to incorporate this inclusivity in their campaigns.
When people, regardless of gender, that do not fit into these societal expectations are featured, it is often in an attempt to embrace inclusivity and diversity, further drawing attention to the fact that they are, quote, different, rather than simply treating them as normal individuals like the other models. All of the aforementioned negative trends across all media enforce ideas and actions that contribute to the perpetuation of rape culture. For those who do not know the definition of rape culture, it is a society or environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalizing, trivializing sexual assault and abuse. Princess movies enforce the damsel in distress dynamic and can make young men believe that women are weaker and are in need of male affirmation or assistance, which can lead to subscribing to predatory gender roles. In addition, music specifically will objectify women and glorify male dominance, as well as predatory gender roles. They also make light of instances of sexual harassment and assault, which can desensitize men to the real impacts of these heinous acts.
What can you do about it? You can continue to educate yourself on the impacts of the patriarchy and gender roles and how they manifest themselves in the media. You can understand the distinction between the norms created in media compared to reality. The expectations set are unrealistic and do not apply to the real world. You can call in members of your community when you see them engaging in sexism, misogynistic, and objectifying behavior. Performative activism is a pejorative term referring to activism done to increase one's social capital rather than because of one's devotion to a cause. It is often associated with surface level activism, referred to as slacktivism. How can you be above performance activism? It's worth to mention that it is fine and encouraged to post call to action posts. Have your actions back up your words. Call people in when you see something wrong. Address instances of misogyny and harassment among your friends. Educate yourself on current issues and support and care for survivors.